My name is Tan Sri Siti Sadia. I was the former Managing Director of KPJ Healthcare Berhad. I'm a mother of 3 children and grandmother of 9. Some women are very ambitious. They want to go to the highest level that they can, and they are capable.
Tan Sri Siti is an exception, a former CEO and a mother of 3. When most women give birth the world over, they experience a sudden drop in income that never recovers. This is known as the motherhood wage gap. And it gets wider with each child a woman has. Despite progress in gender equality, this phenomenon is unique to women. With or without children, men's earnings continue to rise. So, why does this motherhood penalty still persist? Looking at gender equality in Malaysia, the World Economic Forum ranked the country fairly low, 112 out of 156 countries. The data shows that there's a huge gender disparity when it comes to women's political empowerment and economic participation and opportunity. Although Malaysia ranks highly for giving equal pay for equal work, men and women rarely do equal work. While women are overrepresented in lower-paying jobs like the service sector and manufacturing, only around 33% of high-paying senior management roles are held by women. There are a few different ways to explain why this happens. From a purely economic point of view, if and when women take time off to care for children, those missed hours that other colleagues might take up put them at a disadvantage for promotions.
My first maternity leave was 44 days. My boss said 40 days you come back to work. There's a lot of things to be done. And I came back. I sacrificed a lot, to go up the ladder.
But other factors include social expectations and access to support. Since Malaysia's independence in 1957, the number of women in the workforce has risen from around 30% to 50%. Men's economic participation has stayed roughly the same, meaning dual-income families have slowly become the norm. But in this new dual-income equation, our family values haven't evolved at an equal pace. A report by the UNDP and the Ministry of Women and Family Development explains that women are being held back at work by traditional gender constructs and gender discrimination at work. For example, traditional gender roles dictate that women are the primary caregivers for children and elderly relatives, as well as the primary caretakers of the home. Despite women now working the same hours as men outside of the home, the burden of this work still falls disproportionately on women. This has been called the double shift. On top of this, women typically manage the emotions of family members. So, welcome to the triple burden. Lacking adequate support from family, workplace, or government, women that do return to work after having children cope by taking jobs that are less demanding of their time, looking for more family-friendly workplaces, or part-time options, which tend to pay less. One survey reported that 93% of mothers want to return to the workplace, but around 63% found it difficult to do so. So what does adequate support look like, and what happens when women have it?
Personally, I had a very good support from my husband, my own family, as well as my husband's family. And that's where, I'm thankful to what they have done. They allow me to pursue my career, and whenever I have to go, I live overseas few months or so. The children are with my husband. He helped a lot with regard to raising the children and did not put the total responsibility on me alone.
Status reversal couples and stay-at-home dads are becoming more visible, and the number of symmetrical families where couples share household responsibilities more equally are slowly increasing too. But support also needs to come from the workplace.
I may not be able to be where I am, or may not be able to contribute if you don't have good bosses, understanding, and from day one I had very good but very, very serious and very fierce boss, But the more fierce he is, the more I'm able to deliver and produce what is needed by the organization. If you want a woman, to be in your organization, and you know that's a good lady, the lady that can bring reputational returns, can bring prosperity to your company. If you want her brain, give her the support that she needs.
And economically speaking, estimates say that if barriers to women's employment were removed, we could add $50 billion to the Malaysian economy. More practically, it means an average income gain of about 9,400 ringgit for each Malaysian each year. And there are already policies that have been shown to help women stay in or return to the workplace. For example, flexible work arrangements for both men and women, longer maternity and paternity leave coverage, better child support facilities, family-friendly labor market policies, workplace re-entry courses, and/or target-driven inclusion of women in management positions. While targets and quotas can be controversial, research has shown that 25% representation is the critical mass needed for minority voices to be taken seriously. In the past decade, government and industry have been pushing for women to take up more space on boards.
In 2014, we were only at about 14-15% of women representation at the top 100 PLCs. And then just in a short span of 8 years, we've been able to go up to 26. And that's really because all the parties who have the power and the authority got involved and really pushed for change. It's about 10 years ago now. We had the government recommendation to push for it. And at one point, we had a name and shame. And then we have Securities Commission and Bursa Malaysia also putting in the recommendations and really pushing. And then there's the private sector as well. There are some companies where you have really strong allies and champions really pushing for that internally, having all these conversations with the boards and with their management team on how do we increase women representation, not just at the workforce, because there is that leaky pipeline. So how do we address that leaky pipeline to ensure that have a good pool of women to be at the C-suite level?
And the strongest pool of candidates, male or female, is good for business.
It might not be for everyone for C-suite, but it should be an equal opportunity. At the end of the day, it has to come down to merit and your actual qualifications and your experience.
If government and workplace policy can create a level playing field and there is shared responsibility within families, there's no reason why women can't compete and reach their career goals, whatever those goals may be.